really nice, man. Class! Hi, my name is Stevie and I like to write songs. We're working on this Metallica-inspired ballad, and today I would like to work on the B section, which is going to be a heavier section than the ballad part that we did last week. So we're going to introduce the distorted guitars and heavier drums. This part of the song is always a challenging part of the song because we've already set an emotionally heightened feeling in the ballad part. So this part can't be a disappointment. This has to be an elevation of the ideas that we've already been working on. Let's go. Let's just recap what we already have. Right, okay, cool. I really like it. I'm enjoying this song. I think at that point, the obvious thing would be to introduce the heavy guitars, maybe doing a chuggy palm mute thing, and then a new riff. As songwriters and musicians, we often get told that our main aspiration should be to serve the song. But I always wonder what this phrase actually means, because what serves the song is a fundamentally subjective thing. Maybe in one particular song, serving the song is really doing a massive shreddy solo, and that is the perfect thing to do to serve the song. Maybe serving the song is holding back on the lead guitars and being more melodic. A lot of it depends on what mood you're in on that particular day, and a lot of it depends on your own particular interpretation of the song and your own tastes. So sometimes when people say serve the song, it can just be a useless platitude. I always struggle between two competing instincts when I'm writing a song. On the one hand, I have an instinct where I want to find out what the simplest solution to each issue in a song is and produce a perfectly simple, pared down version of the song that's perfect in its own way. But on the other hand, I have a competing instinct that tells me to do something unusual, do something unexpected, try to digress off the beaten path. Sometimes 100% going in one direction is the best thing to do. Sometimes going 100% in the other direction is the best thing to do. And sometimes finding a balance between both of them is the best thing to do. That's how I feel today. I think for the journey of this song, we could think more along the lines of Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven. We've got the ballad section at the start. The next section could maybe be like a rock section that's actually a song within itself with its own verses and choruses, but not particularly heavy metal. And then after that, we could build it up even further and go into a sort of prog metal guitar solo thing. So we're going to try and apply both the simple rock solution for the B section and then the complex progressive section for the C section. And that's that's got nothing to do with pregnancy. Section C, it's not cesarean. Right, so I was trying to think what would be an enjoyable way for me to move forward with this song today. I found myself recently listening to a lot of Ronnie James Dio, especially his solo stuff, and I've always been a big fan of his Black Sabbath stuff. He's one of my favourite metal singers. And I was kind of taken by Don't Talk to Strangers, and it's got the kind of dynamic trajectory that we want to go on today, moving from the ballad into the heavy part. So I wanted to channel some Ronnie James Dio style riffs today instead of going full prog metal and so on. So this is the kind of thing I was thinking about. We're coming out of the palm muting section, which is the build up. So that would be the riff that has no singing in it. And then when the singing comes in, I was thinking about something like this. So that would be the interlude riff and the verse. Right, let's have a listen. Nothing comes as close, and nothing ever will. I do think this riff needs to go round that second time, but I think we need some kind of variation, because it's too long just doing the same thing over and over again. That's a cool riff. It's simple but cool. Right, I think I'll copy this over so that we have two verses to record vocals over. So what I did here is I played the riff over and over again, and I already had a fair idea what I wanted to do for the vocal melody. So it was just a matter of trying to come up with some words. I started off singing gibberish, and eventually the gibberish started turning into words, and these are the words that I ended up with. As we dissect our failures, the vultures gather round us. With hungry eyes, they see the carcass of our lives. Spectators of our downfall, we carry on regardless. They see the skull beneath our skin and lick their lips. Now, one of the problems that I have with these lyrics is I think lives should rhyme where lips is there. So we need to change that line. Plus, skull beneath our skin just reminds me too much of Megadeth, so I want to drop that. I'm not so keen on hungry eyes as well, so we'll try and find some replacements for these words. With hungry eyes, they see the carcass of our lives. You see, is great. I want something in front of that, but how about just something as simple as they feast their eyes? As we dissect our failures, the vultures gather round us. They feast their eyes upon the carcass of our lives. Okay, eyes and lives has a nice, strong feeling to it as well. Spectators of our downfall, we carry on regardless. They see the skull. Right, we need a rhyme for lives. Straight away, I'm thinking knives. something, 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 and sharpen up their knives. Spectators of our downfall. Right, let's take out that line. Spectators of our downfall, we carry on regardless. Right, I was sort of thinking that in the next sentence before sharpen up their knives, it should be talking about these people, these betrayers. But I can't really think of anything, so we could just carry on in the sense of we carry on regardless, persevering as they sharpen up their knives. We carry on regardless, in perseverance as they sharpen up their knives. That seems like a long enough thing to do for the first verse. I want to hear what that sounds like before I start wasting any time writing the second verse. If that's good, then we'll do something similar for the second verse. Let's try it. As we dissect our failures, the vultures gather round us. They feast their eyes upon the carcass of our lives. Spectators of our downfall, we carry on regardless, in perseverance as they sharpen up their knives. Okay, so I think that did kind of turn out the way I hoped. It's kind of got a Ronnie James Dio style to it. I wish I could sing like him, but what can you do? Let's have a listen to it. As we dissect our failures, the vultures gather round us. They feast their eyes upon the carcass of our lives. Spectators of our downfall, we carry on regardless, in perseverance as they sharpen up their knives. Cool. Let's work on the second verse now. So I stopped there for a little coffee break and I had to think about these lyrics. And I think there's some kind of subliminal influence coming in because of recent political developments in the world. For the last few years, we've seen the rise in sort of right-wing populist governments. And I think that is starting to subside again as people start seeing through their rhetoric. I was thinking recently about a thing that I seen on one of the American news channels where they were saying that there was a fear that if Donald Trump is rejected by the Republican Party in his run for the presidency, there's a fear that he would tear the whole Republican Party down with him. That kind of strongman politics is something that we're starting to see come to an end. But if we look at these lyrics, you can see that there is a feeling of that. There's something about downfall. There's something about sharpening up their knives. There's definitely infighting and betrayal. You can see exactly the same thing happening with the Conservative Party in the UK as well. Exactly the same strongman populist governments are starting to topple. There's a lot of infighting going on as people try to take control of the power vacuum that happens in the meantime. It's just kind of taking that idea of political infighting. I'm not really taking a political point of view here. I'm just talking about that. It's quite interesting that sometimes people put their own aspirations above and beyond any loyalties to their parties or their cliques. So what we want to do here is try and write another verse that basically follows the same melodic contours as this one. As we dissect our failures, we pave a new direction. I had a look in a rhyming dictionary there now for something that might rhyme with direction, and I came up with a brilliant rhyme. It's indiscretion. It barely rhymes, but it's pretty cool. We pave a new direction, remove all indiscretions. We pave a new direction, remove, maybe delete is a bit stronger, might be easier to sing. Delete all indiscretions is making me kind of think about this sort of revisionist movement in history where people are trying to pretend and gaslight you that things that actually happened on television in front of your eyes didn't actually happen. Almost like maybe getting a tattoo removed. Remove the scars. Remove the scars that tell. I just thought of a line there now. We bow to tyranny and polish up our chains. It's an old cliche about politics. We bow to tyranny and polish up our chains. So maybe that should be the last line of the four. We need a rhyme there. Games would be a good line. War games. Remove the scars that tell the story of our games. And then something, and then we bow to tyranny and polish up our chains. I'm still thinking about this history revisionism. Fiction is a good word that I'd like to use. So, writing fiction, inventing fiction, conspiring fiction, cultivating fiction. That's cool. In cultivating fiction, we pave a new direction, delete all indiscretions, remove the scars that tell the story of our games. In cultivating fiction, we bow to tyranny and polish up our chains. Feels like maybe we should try and get a rhyme with indiscretions. Any ION word. Right, so after about 10 minutes looking on the rhyming dictionary, the best I could come up with is aspiration. So erase all aspiration. It's like if you're writing fiction, you're also erasing something. So that's where I came up with that. In cultivating fiction, erase all aspiration. We bow to tyranny and polish up our chains. Cool. Let's get that recorded.
We pave a new direction, delete all indiscretions, remove the skies that tell the story of our games. In cultivating fiction, erase all aspiration, we bow to tyranny and polish up our chains.
Right, so we're using two main rhythm guitar sounds now. We've got this one, that's the S gear one, from the start of the song, where we were doing this thing. And then we've got my normal Line 6 rhythm guitar sound as well. So it would be nice in the chorus now if we combine the two. We've got the Line 6 doing heavy, chuggy palm mutes, and this one maybe playing arpeggios over the top of it. I'll try this chord sequence for now anyway and see if it works. So it's quite similar to the thing we were doing in the verses of the first part of the song. It's the same chords. Except it's sort of reversed. And then on top of that, I'll do something like this with the Line6 Helix. Okay, let's record that and see what it comes out like. Okay, let's have a listen to that now.
And perseverance as they sharpen up their knives.
Right, a couple of things. Let's pull this back. This is the verse we recorded earlier. Let's line it up here and hear what that sounds like.
We pave a new direction, delete all indiscretions.
Okay, cool. I think I'd also maybe like to add some of the keyboard parts back into the verses as well. Let's have a look at that. So we could add this basic pad part first anyway.
Perseverance as they sharpen up their knives.
Also would like a keyboard part to maybe pick out those clean guitar parts as well. To try and find something that would suit that. After quite a bit of searching around, I have ended up using Analog Lab Intro again, which is a favourite of mine. I got it for free a while ago. I think from time to time it pops up as a free instrument. Now, if you need a lot of keyboard sounds, this is a great way to go because all the keyboards on it sound amazing. So I found a Rhodes sound called Morning Rhodes, and I was playing this and it sounded really good in the track. And I'm starting to think maybe that could be the vocal melody as well that I'm playing. So it kind of ties in with the guitar, but it's also going to help out the vocals. Let's put that down.
And perseverance as they sharpen up their knives.
There's a bit of a push on the other instruments that I didn't play on the keyboard, so I think I'll go in and edit that and fix it. Let's hear the keyboard parts now. And with everything. Okay, cool. Lyrics time. So I did the same thing for this. Played the chorus over and over again and wrote some gibberish lyrics. I really don't like these lyrics, but it gives me a good idea what I want to do with the vocal melody. But I want to change all these lyrics to make it a wee bit more interesting. I'm going to start a rewrite process of these lyrics now. So these are the new lyrics that I've come up with here. I thought maybe fading we could change because a new word came into my mind there now. Jading. It's a wee bit more similar to degrading, just changing one letter. Jading, the steady hand degrading. This is like the steady hand of government that's falling apart. The colour and the shading always in between the lines, like a kind of metaphor. Trading a trigger for attrition, the titan of ambition, never bring us peace of mind. I'm reasonably happy with these lyrics. I think I'll go ahead and try and get these recorded.
Jading, the steady hand degrading, the color and the shading, always in between the lines. Trading a trigger for attrition, the titan of ambition, never bring us peace of mind.
I think we're almost certainly going to need a lot of harmonies in this part, but let's hear what we have so far.
And perseverance as they sharpen up their knives. Jading, the steady hand degrading, the color and the shading, always in between the lines. Trading a trigger for attrition, the titan of ambition, never bring us peace of mind. We pave a new direction, delete.
Okay, what harmonies could we do?
Jading, the steady hand degrading, the color and the shading, always in between the lines. Trading a trigger for attrition, the titan of ambition, never bring us peace of mind. We pave a new.
Right, let's have a listen to those harmonies.
Jading, the steady hand degrading, the color and the shading, always in between the lines. Trading a trigger for attrition, the titan of ambition, never bring us peace of mind. We're paving.
And don't forget, all the stuff about melodyning and vocal editing and vocal line and stuff like that there, I'm doing a video at the end of the series all about that stuff. So I'll show you exactly how I got the vocals to sound like this. So in the track,
Jading, the steady hand degrading, the color and the shading, always in between the lines. Trading a trigger for attrition, the titan
copy this section now down to after the second verse as well. And I think maybe I'd like to go back to this riff here then. Okay, so I think we're probably ready to listen to everything that we've got so far now in the track and see how the song is coming together. Let's get a listen. Yes! That's really nice, man. Class. Great. So we're over 4.5 minutes there, and I don't even think we're halfway through the song yet. So yeah, rock and roll, yeah. I think at that last section there, I might start doing some really heavy vocals over the top of that, some really screamy things before I go into the guitar solo. We'll see what I come up with next week. So looking forward to it. I've a lot of work to do still, but can't wait to get stuck in. Okay, guys, so there's a lot of work to do yet in this song. I can't wait to get stuck in. Next week, we'll try and do those screamy vocals, maybe start doing some arrangement with the tracks and stuff, because I'm getting a wee bit untidy here. And we'll try and work on ideas for the guitar solo. Let's see how we get on. I'm looking forward to next week to see where this song is going to take us. Thanks so much, guys, for following this video. I really hope you're finding these videos useful. And as usual, I want your input. Please let me know what you think of the song. If you've got any ideas for the song, directions you think we should go with it, or things you think I should change, then please let me know. I love interacting with you guys, and it's a great help for me when I'm writing these songs to hear what your input is. If these videos are useful to you, then please help the channel to grow and give me some encouragement by liking and subscribing. Buy me a coffee even if you fancy it, but don't fool yourself. I'll not be buying coffee, I'll be buying beer. Thank you so much, guys. You guys rock.